The Great Eight comes to town looking for a sweep of Alberta in back-to-back nights. The Oil will look to put an end to that and get back into the win column. Tonight, we get you set for the Oilers and the Washington Capitals right here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Good evening, everybody. Tom Gazzola with you on this Saturday. Betty Thomson back at EST Global HQ, and Shawn Belle is our analyst for tonight. He will be along shortly for Game Changers. Of course, you can text us 780-218-9999. Hop into the nasty chat if you're watching over on YouTube. And of course, GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Benny Thomson, how are you?
I'm great, man. Doing great. It's had a good nap after hell of hockey this morning, and
me too.
Just relax. It was a good afternoon. Now I'm excited for a good Saturday night game, which should be entertaining with Ovechkin in town. So should be good.
Yeah, I don't know how many more times we're going to get to see Alex Ovechkin here in Edmonton. Hopefully a couple more. But you just never know. I mean, the guy's 40 years old. He scored over 900 goals. I like the idea of him chasing down 1,000. We'll talk to Taryn Bray, Capitals reporter, in a few minutes. Had a chance to chat with her, and she gives her thoughts on that as well. All right, have your say, and we want to hear from you. We're going to get to the question of the night. We're going to get to some starting lineups. We're going to get to the advanced sport medicine and physiotherapy starting lineups, and we're going to get to the question of the night. So, Benny, I'll give it to you. Like, what are you thinking?
Just for tonight, Connor Ingram looks like he's going to get the start tonight, and rightfully so. Mm-hmm. I asked this question when he first got called up. Could he become the Oilers' new backup? Is there a chance that Connor Ingram could become the full-time starter in Edmonton? Can he make his way up to that level, right? Where they're doing a split of Ingram plays 2, Jari plays 1. I understand they've given Jari, that's the guy they brought in to be the guy. But if Ingram's, playing solid, and Jari, I'm not saying the Pittsburgh loss was all on him or anything, but he could have been slightly better. Then I wonder if Ingram could possibly become the starter. Let us know.
I think it's possible, honestly. I really do, because just the way he's played, it's been a pleasant surprise, right? He's been good despite the poor numbers in the AHL. He's been steady and consistent, and he's kept them in most games. He's given the Oilers a chance to win most nights. So, especially if he gets W's and Tristan Jarry does not, it's kind of it's a what have you done for me lately league, as the boys like to say, and I don't disagree with that. So I think it's possible. You talk to Reed Wilkins, he says he might be starter of day one of the playoffs for the Oil. You never know. And guess what? I'm not opposed to that by any means. If that's the guy that's playing best, play him. You want to win, don't you? Yep. You want to win, so go for it. I think it's possible, for sure. Let us know your thoughts, 780-218-9999. I'll hop into the nasty chat as well. We're going to get Bellsy. He's ready to go. I saw a couple of texts come in. Barbershop Window says Ovechkin can easily hit 1,000 in 1 or 2 years. Yeah, he's at 918. Scored last night in Calgary. And say he gets 10 to 15 more this season. Barbershop Window, I think you're onto something. I'm with you on that. It's doable. I could see him doing it. Vincenzo says, good evening, boys. Hopefully we could get a big W tonight. Yeah, that game the other night was not pretty against the Pittsburgh Penguins, as we welcome in our game analyst, Shawn Belle. Will they bounce back? Look at Belle's new toys. Hey, you got a new microphone there. Is it going to work? Hello.
I have no idea, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm a bit of a mess. I don't know where my earbuds are. Don't know where my microphone is.
I gave you a new mic.
I don't know where it is.
Okay.
The kids have it.
The kids Probably. Have it. Well, you're like, can we go off the top so that I can get the kids to bed? I said, absolutely. So you're here. Let's dive right into it. What would you say to the question of the night? Connor Ingram possibly being the starter and the number one, opposed to it? I don't know who would be, but what are your thoughts on what Benny brought up?
I would agree with you. Like, I don't know who would be opposed to having him as the day one starter, because, like you mentioned, Tom, it is what have you done for me lately league. And the reality of the situation is right now, and this is just my opinion, but Ingram seems to be the most steady of the three. Now, granted, obviously,
Sure.
Pickard hasn't really been playing much, but Jari gets a net. Yeah, he's fine. Yes, he's athletic. Yes, he's made some big stops, but the guy that I think looks the most composed, calm, and gives them the best chance to win right now is Ingram. So if all things continue, then yeah, I would agree. He should be the day one starter.
Lots of hockey left to be played, but let's see what happens, right? I mean, I think he's going to get a great opportunity here to run with it. And when he gets his chances, he's been pretty good for the most part. Have your say, 780-218-9999. Bellsy, that video of your goal last night that I tweeted out, it is doing really good numbers.
Well, that's nice.
54,000 views.
That's insane. Maybe people are just in awe that I could still walk the blue line.
That was nice. Very smooth. Very smooth. You skate very well. You always have. So great experience. For those that didn't catch Hello Hockey, I know we're busting each other's chops on Hello Hockey today. We had some fun. How was the Shoresy game? Like, what did you like most about that experience?
It was a fantastic show, for one. Like, the way that they did it was, I thought was exceptional. The fan interaction was amazing. The fans, I think, put it over the top. Like, just talking to some of the guys from Shoresy's cast, they said that Edmonton was the loudest and the most engaged. And, right from the minute we got to warm-ups to the end of the game, the fans were engaged the entire time, which is a rare thing, because there is obviously lapses, and it's not like the game was that action-packed or that fast. But guys were playing hard, and guys were zipping pucks around, and it was a really good show. So I had a lot of fun with it. I got hit once, and I'm kind of hurt. My shoulder's kind of hurt, but I don't wear shoulder pads, so I think that's partly my problem.
Who got you?
Morasti. So Gym 1 and Gym 2.
Did they?
They both came to hit me. I stood up Morasti, but he's obviously like a little fire hydrant, so I went into the boards. But like, if you're getting hit, and then you're getting two guys, obviously there's going to be a little bit of weight. It wasn't like they tried to run me. It was just like, it was a little contact. It was nothing. But I probably should wear shoulder pads if that's the case.
Those guys were wearing shoulder pads. You could tell. I don't think
a lot of guys were wearing shoulder pads.
Were a lot of your guys? I don't think a lot of the Oilers alumni.
No. Yeah. We, I think I threw my shoulder pads out when I retired.
I mean, You're jacked and juicy, as you like to say. So
thanks, buddy. Yeah. I actually don't say it very often. You kind of picked up the mantra, so
it's great.
I allow you to say it.
Yeah, I use it as a line, and people are like, "Pardon me." Yeah. They're like, "You have a European trim fit physique. You're not jacked and juicy." I'm like, "Well, Bellsy says it." So.
Oh, too much.
I know, it's silly. All right, 780-218-9999. Hop into the nasty chat as we get you set for the Oilers and the Caps. Let's see. Norman at Combine says, Ingram has been a pleasant surprise, but since his numbers were worse in all, does that mean the defensive structure is worse than up at the big club compared to the AHL?
What?
Ingram has been a pleasant surprise. Since his numbers were worse in the AHL, does that mean the defensive structure is worse than up with the big clubs?
Oh,
I cleared it up. Norm added, he fixed it after. Sorry.
The AHL is a wild, wild west. And it's a mashup of like three different leagues all in one. And it's you got guys that are coming down from the show that expect to go up. Mm-hmm. You got one-way contract guys in the A that kind of want to keep their spots, and then you got East Coast guys that are trying to make their way into the A and better their careers. So it's three different groupings of players, and everybody's trying to make an impact, and it's craziness. That's why they call it the jungle. It's everybody's kind of for themselves. Even though we sit there back and say, hey, it's a team. Yeah. It's just scrambly hockey. It's I don't want to say it's unorganized, because that's not necessarily true, but the game is just different. It's not as flowy, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So everybody in the
I know what you
NHL is
mean.
in the right spots. Like if you're not in the right spots, you're probably sitting on the bench for the most part. Like obviously people will be like, well, what about Bouchard? Well, he's also $11 million D-man. So there's those conversations. But players in the minors are learning the pro game. They're trying to get that sorted out. So they're going to give up more chances. In the NHL, it's a little bit more, it's more predictable, I guess is the best way to say that.
Right.
That's a good point by Norm. Like to me, it's evident that I think goalies would prefer to play in the NHL because you know what's, like you were saying, what's predictable. I also think too, like, yeah, especially last game, blenders in your own end weren't great if you're the Oilers, but I believe since Wallman has been back in the lineup, you can scratch out that Pittsburgh game. The defensive structure has been pretty solid so far. It makes it pretty easy for Connor Ingram. So I mean, all the Oilers have been asking for all these years has been just make the saves you need to make. The ones that you should be making, make them. And Connor Ingram, to me, has done that the most in his short time with the Oilers out of the three goalies that are still here.
All right, let's dive into Game Changers with our very own Shawn Belle. Boom, boom, as Rip City Step says. He says, is that Oilers alumni star? Shawn Boom Boom Belle. Oh, yeah. Boom Boom Belle went posting in last night. Oh, with a nice little snipe. Well done, Bellsy. All right. Game Changers is always brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting, a consistent top producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 18 years. He's community driven and understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. All right. Boom, boom. Number one on Game Changers, opportunity knocks.
Opportunity knocks. Well, the best way I can describe this is that the Oilers have had the fortune of having multiple back-to-backs or being the beneficiary of teams having back-to-backs. So far, it hasn't gone very well because for whatever odd reason, the Oilers sleep their way through it or they're just not ready to go and then they have to start fighting. But opportunity is very simple. If you show up against a tired team, there's 2 points on the line. And because we're getting closer and closer to February, these points are going to start to matter. You're going to have time off as soon as the Olympic break hits, which obviously is next month. So you got to start taking those opportunities to get the 2 points because, hey, the reality is there's other teams that are trying to close in on you. Other teams are playing well. And yes, you may be in the second spot in the division, but you cannot get comfortable being in that predictable that spot. So it's one of these things where if you have that opportunity to face a team that's consistent or coming off a back-to-back, you got to be all of them. You got to be ready to go. You got to have a solid 10 minutes so you can plant that seed of doubt in that team of, do I really want to fight through this when maybe their legs are full of lactic acid, they're not quite ready to go and they're a little bit tired and banged up. Those are opportunities, and you need those 2 points so that you can solidify yourself in the top portion of the division.
Opportunity knocks. Point number one on Game Changers with Bellsy. Point number two, Trey. Oh, no, that was last game. Sorry. Apologies there, boys. I got last game's lineup. Special teams, Bellsy. Special teams, point number two.
Special teams, yep. It's an interesting battle because right now you'd expect a little bit more from the Washington Capitals on the power play. The Oilers are 32.2% on the power play. The Washington Capitals are at 16.7%. Something with a power play with Alexander Ovechkin is what I never thought I'd hear at running at a clip at 16%.
Yeah.
But right now their special teams in Washington isn't very good. And even their PK, it's at 77.7, which is closer to the bottom of the league than it is to the upper echelon of the league. So the Oilers right now have an opportunity. If they're going to win this game, the special teams battle is going to be a big one because based off just pure numbers, the Oilers have the advantage when it comes to special teams.
Taking a look at them right now, heading into action tonight. Edmonton, like Bellsy mentioned, 32.2, first overall in the National Hockey League. At home, they're second in the league at 30.7, and then on the road back up at first overall, though, first in the National Hockey League. And then the 16.7% for the Caps, like Shawn was outlining. The PKs, guys, 24th is where the Caps sit at 77.7%. And then actually on the road, it's at 24th in the NHL, 76.1%. Edmonton's PK, 80.9%. It has slowly crept up into the top 10. Very impressive with 5 shorthanded markers. The Caps have just 1 shorthanded goal. Edmonton at home on the PK, 14th overall in the National Hockey League at 80% even. But yeah, they've crept up to 10th in the National Hockey League. And, we're used to talking about the Oilers PK being an issue and an area of concern in the playoffs last year. It was bad, guys, outright, just bad. So good to see that. Edmonton with the special teams advantage, top to bottom in both categories. Benny, did you want to chime in with anything before we hop on to number 3 here?
No, you can move on. I thought it was a good point, but Belle's either.
All right, it is Game Changers with our game analyst, Shawn Belle. Point number 1 was opportunity knocks. Point number 2, special teams. Point number 3, I don't know. I think I know who this is about, but it's Tom.
Apparently, Toms are menaces.
What do you
Apparently,
mean?
Toms get on the forechecks and they go hard. Apparently, Toms work in the hard areas.
I don't know about what I'm looking at, but I'm just kidding.
That's fair. But Tom Wilson
that guy
is a wrecking ball. Tom Wilson is the guy that's leading the team in goals. Tom Wilson is the guy that is, I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, leading the team in points. Tom Wilson is an absolute menace, and he is a guy that I want to sit there and say, like, you should probably let him sleep. But I don't know if this guy sleeps. Like, this guy is he's a big time player. He's always ready to go. But it's one of those things when he's fully engaged, he's a hard guy to stop because he's hitting people all over the ice. He's causing chaos and he's putting up points. Mm-hmm. And this is a guy that the Oilers have to pay special attention to because he can be a difference maker. He's played so well that he played his way onto Team Canada.
Yep.
And so Tom is a menace.
He is tied with Alex Ovechkin for the team lead in points at 44. So, yes, he goes in there. He bangs. He crashes. He'll hurt you if he needs to. He'll fight you if he needs to. And then, oh, by the way, he'll bury a goal or two and set up a nice one if he needs to. And on most nights, he tends to do that. I'm excited to see how he plays at the Olympics. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to see how he's utilized at the Olympics. And honestly, he's been a really good piece for the Washington Capitals for a bunch of years now. So we'll see if the Oilers can keep him in check. And like Bellsy said, don't wake him up. Let him sleep a little bit. So, yeah, that's a good one. That is Game Changers, brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Speaking of people sleeping, you got to put the kidlings to bed?
I do. Got to pull him out of the bath and let him go. Okay.
Bellsy, great stuff. Rest up and enjoy the game. We'll catch you on the postgame show, all right?
Sounds good, boys. Nasties.
There's our game analyst, Shawn Belle, with Game Changers, brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. You can text us, 780-218-9999. Hop into the nasty chat as well. Benny Thomson, throw out the question of the night one more time if you don't mind.
Question of the night is, do you believe that Connor Ingram can take over as the main Oilers goalie starter here in Edmonton? Let us know.
Sticky Dave texting in says 100% let him cook. Jari, excellent as well, but Sticky Dave says Ingram is 2 thumbs up. Thank you, Sticky Dave.
I also this is a play on to the question of the night. When was the last time Oilers fans were this confident about their goaltending? And I understand
maybe Talbot in 2017.
That's probably it. Right.
Maybe.
I understand we're coming off, we're watching the Oilers lose 6-3 to the Pens, and Jari didn't have his best night, but it was definitely not his fault. Oilers simply did not show up for that game. To me, when I watch them, just from my point of view, it seems a lot more safe. Everyone plays a lot more comfortable in front of these goalies. Mm-hmm. Hernan said on his show, when there's a breakaway, and Jari let in 2 breakaway goals. I understand. I'm trying to erase the last game.
Yeah.
But when there's a breakaway, I think the confidence of the Oilers goalie is going to make the save is much higher. than when 74 was here. And so you compare last year's team to this year's team, and it's pretty simple and it's easy to say that it is a worse team on paper than last year. I think we can all agree on that. They're not as good of a team as they were last year in the playoffs. We'll see what they do at the deadline. But I would like to think that the Oilers have an upgrade in net with two guys compared to last year. Does that balance it out and weigh it out to where your goaltending is better than last year? Maybe your depth scoring isn't as good. Your defensive ability isn't as good. Can that cancel each other out and result in a deep playoff run for the Oilers? I was thinking about that this week. I still think there's work that needs to be done on this Oilers team. There's holes for sure, but I think this goaltending, once again, outside of the last game with Jari, but I think it's pretty promising as of right now. Like right now, the short sample we've got, I think Oilers fans are pretty confident in Ingram or Jari, and they have the right to be because they've played pretty well.
Yes, they have. No denying that for sure. Speaking of Hernan, he is in the nasty chat. He's talking about Evan Bouchard, saying he's playing his 400th NHL game. What will he bring us tonight? Well, hopefully no giveaways and lapses defensively, Nan. So hopefully he's inspired in game number 400 for the Edmonton Oilers. All right, let us know your thoughts. 780-218-9999. Let's get you your starting lineups for tonight. Here is what we're expecting from the Oilers. Of course, the Caps played last night in Calgary. We'll give you their lineups from yesterday, and if there's any updates, we'll pass them your way. For the Oil, Connor McDavid between Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman. Leon Draisaitl with Vasily Podkolzin and Andrew Mangiapane. Interesting. Jack Roslovic between Ike Howard and Matt Savoy. Curtis Lazar centering Trent Frederick and Matthias Janmark. On defense, Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Emberson, Wallman with Stasny. As for the Capitals, Connor McMichael and Ryan Leonard flanking Dylan Strome down the middle. Justin Sordiff, the former Edmonton Oil King, between Alexei Protas and Tom Wilson, who Belzy was talking about. Nick Dowd centering Alex Ovechkin and Ethan Frank, and then Hendrix Lapierre between Brandon Duhaime and Anthony Beauvillier. On defense for Washington tonight, Martin Faravari with John Carlson, Jacob Chikrin with Matt Roy, Rasmus Sandin with Trevor Van Riemsdyk. Your starting goalies for tonight. We're going to be seeing Connor Ingram for the Oil, and we're expecting Charlie Lindgren for the Washington Capitals. There are your starting lineups for tonight. We'll get to your Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy injury report. The good crew over at Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy want to remind you that Connor McDavid has a team of specialists and you have a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach that's trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today, www.advantagesportmed.ca. Of course, Kasperi Kapanen for the Oil. There was a chance we were thinking maybe he would get into the game this weekend. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. Adam Henrique, of course, on LTIR. As for the Washington Capitals, their injury situation, let's take a look at that right now. For the Caps, Pierre-Luc Dubois, IR abdomen, and he's been out since November, expected to be out until at least March after the Olympic break. There you go. That is your Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy injury report. Check them out. Book your assessment today at AdvantageSportMed.ca. They are excellent. Give them a shout at 780-460-9977, getting you back into and physiotherapy. Benny Thomson, anything else before we go to Tara and Bray?
Trying to think off the top of my head. No, I don't think so. You cut out there for a second. I didn't catch fully what you said. But
glitched for whatever reason.
Weird. I found it pretty interesting. Alex Ovechkin on the third line. They're trying to spread that scoring. I'd imagine is the reasoning. So, and with the special teams of the Washington Capitals, maybe not being as great as they would like it with their power play and everything. I mean, you have Ovechkin, still, older guy, probably not doing it as well as he once did, but I thought their power play would be a little bit better. But yeah, I guess with their lines, trying to spread out the scoring. Ovechkin on the third with Dowd and Ethan Frank. I'm curious to see how that plays.
We'll have a look tonight for show. All right, let's go to Taryn Bray, Caps reporter. Had a chance to catch up with her earlier in the day. Here she is. Back by popular demand, Caps reporter Taryn Bray joining us, not from an elevator, not from some kind of weird press room at Capital One Center. She's joining us as we get set for the Capitals and the Oilers. Hello, Taryn. Are you avoiding exploding trees? Am I misreading the information? Tell me what's going on in Washington.
Barely missing exploding trees. I am in a real proper room, so hopefully the sound and the reverb is better than whatever place I was at last time. I can't believe that you've gotten me on twice in the last 2 months. That's really good.
Yeah.
I am avoiding exploding trees. I'm not avoiding snow and ice and all the bad stuff that comes with a winter storm. So this is what I'm doing instead, talking to you.
Lovely, and I'm very happy about this. And one thing we talk about when it comes to snow and ice is hockey, obviously, in the Washington Capitals.
Good segue.
Thank you. I try. I've been doing this for a little while. The Washington Capitals roll into town. Alex Ovechkin, always a big draw when he comes to Edmonton. We don't get to see him very often, once a year, obviously.
Yep.
Where are the Caps at right now? Can you give us a little bit of an update since we last saw you?
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind season since the last time we talked. The Caps and Oilers played at Capital One Arena in DC in November. So now here we are almost 2 months later. And the Caps had a really good spurt after that Oilers game. I think we even talked, we were like, it'll be under 4 goals. And then we went on to score 7 goals. And then we also went on to win a bunch of games in that span. But since that beginning of December, the Caps have not won 2 straight games.
Wow.
So they have gone win, loss, 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 win, loss. They have not won 2 straight games since then. And since Christmas, the break, they've gone 6-8-1. So it's been a pretty tough stretch here. January schedule-wise for the Cavs was really brutal. They've played every other day with a couple of back-to-backs mixed in there. So it's been a tough schedule for them. I think they're one of 2 or 3 teams in the league that have played 52 games. So they have, a couple games up on some other teams, which also presents some issues when you're looking down, a really tight runway for the standings and trying to get points and make the playoffs. So it's been tough, but the Capitals did break their 4-game losing streak last night in Calgary with a 3-1 win. So you know what? Hopefully maybe they'll break that, haven't won 2 games straight tonight in Edmonton if we have our way.
The Oilers have not handled teams that have come in from Calgary or Vancouver or Seattle or Winnipeg the night before particularly well. The Oilers were very sloppy. Yeah, just the other night. And Leon Draisaitl literally flew in from Europe, landed, played the game the other night, and they had a tough night. But we'll see what the Oilers do tonight. But when it comes to the Caps, what did you see or what can you say about what they did at the Saddle Dome in Calgary that gave them the win? And then, how do they try to sustain that tonight, in your opinion?
Yeah, it was a different game in terms of the structure and how they played the game last night. The few games before that, when they were on the 4-game losing streak, Spencer Carberry really mentioned that they were making a lot of mistakes, giving up way too many chances, letting guys, score a bunch of goals on Logan Thomson, even though he still is top 4 in goals saved above expected. But just giving up way too many chances. And last night, that was a completely different story. I mean, the Flames came out and they scored their first and only goal in the first period. And then second period, the Caps didn't allow a shot on goal from them until the very last few minutes of that second period. So they locked down defensively and made sure that they were spending all their time in the offensive zone. And so that was the difference maker. That has not happened for the Capitals in a long time. They have spent way too much time in their own defensive zone and have just given up way too many chances where they're down and they're just not converting when they, are down 2, down 1. They just can't come back. So it seemed like they were playing a different type of game, a little bit more grit last night than they have had to play in the past, which is similar to the Caps of 2 seasons ago. So I think they're kind of re-looking at their identity now and figuring out, we're not last season's team. Who are we? How do we play in order to squeak out these wins? We're not going to win by 4 goals like we did last year. We might have to win a 1-goal game. And how do we prevent a team from coming back and taking that momentum with them? So we'll see how they, use that from last night into tonight. It'll be curious. It is a back-to-back. So, historically, the Caps have not had a great record in back-to-backs this year. So we'll see what happens. But I think maybe they're finally figuring out that their identity needs to be different and what they have to do in order to win games in a different way.
Terrence, seriously, that sounds like a lot of stuff Oiler fans are dealing with right now. Edmonton has not won 3 straight games this season. They are also playing their 53rd game this year. Back-to-backs have been awful for the Oilers as well, and they're kind of trying to find themselves. Injuries and other situations have played. Yeah, they played a factor in that for sure. Okay, I'll put you on the spot a little bit because I want to do this. Yeah, no, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You're around the team all the time. This is a treat for Oilers fans to see Alex Ovechkin, and I think he's at what, 917 when it comes to goals, or did he hit 918 last night? But
918 last night.
Yeah,
so with the empty netter.
Exactly. So I said this in the week on our regular shows. I said I think maybe he wants to get to 1,000 goals, and he would be the only guy to do it. He's the only guy to 900.
Yeah.
Can you take a swing at that? Like, do you get a feel? Do you get a sense? Can you tell Oilers fans, Western Canadian hockey fans, what is the Great Eight going to do?
I mean, just thinking about 1,000 goals it feels like you're going insane because it's like, how is that possible? How did we get here? Like, it just is a crazy number to think about. And I'm sure it is on Alex Ovechkin's mind. Like, how can it not be when you just passed Gretzky last year, 900, all that stuff, right? But I really do believe that he is focused on this year. Like, we have to see how this year goes. Right now, we're in, like I mentioned before, an interesting position-wise with the Olympic break coming up, then the trade deadline. Like, what is this team going to do? Are they, hoping to squeak into the playoffs? Are they going to sell? What is that? And I think that is really always focused right now is figure out, see how this season goes, and then make the decision there. I see him almost every day when they're at home, and there is no indication or feeling around the team that it's like, oh, we have to do this because it's Obi's last season. Like, there's nothing of that. So I will find out at the same time as anyone else does, but he really is like, so I want to score. I want this team to win. I'm focused on this. I'm not even looking towards that. So I mean, I would love to see him get 1,000 goals. That seems like it's far away, but with Obi, you never know. That could be 2 seasons from now if he decides he wants to play till he's 42. I mean, if anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be him.
I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm rooting for him. I think that would be such a great accomplishment, such a good thing for hockey. Him and Crosby are institutes in hockey, so it's a true treat to see him play when he comes out here. And I kind of want to see it. So selfishly, I'll say that. Taryn Bray with us, Caps reporter, as we get you set for the Oilers and the Washington Capitals, second and final meeting this season. Taryn, when you look at this team and it's having success, what are they doing well? And that leads to the W at the end of the night.
Yeah. I mean, defensively, they've had showings that are really strong. And when they're not playing well, it's very evident that defensively they're making a lot of mistakes. It's tough because, like I mentioned before, Logan Thomson is still playing out of his mind. He may have more L's on his record than he did last season, but that's not because he has regressed or played worse. Like, he obviously made the Canadian Olympic team, so did Tom Wilson.
We'll talk about
stuff
that.
We touched about last time. So he's still playing out of his mind. He's doing as much as he can. I think it's really also about scoring is hard to say. I mean, we've had injuries, like you said, you guys have had. I mean, Tom Wilson was out for a couple weeks and still Pierre-Luc Dubois is still out. But we had a period where it seemed like everyone was scoring night in and night out. And I think across the board in hockey, when you have a lineup that can contribute at any point of the night and you're not just relying on 2 or 3 guys, that's really the key. That hasn't been the case for us. We really have not had any scoring. It's been really tough for them to, put the puck in the back of the net. And I think one of the issues for the Caps this year has been too, is that once they do score, they do go up, they very, very quickly find themselves letting up a goal immediately after. It's been very difficult for them to hold on to a lead. They've many games throughout the season. The theme is that they'll score and then within the next few minutes, their opponents score. So they've struggled to hold on to that lead. And I think that's the biggest thing. If they can play tight after they go up and hold on to the lead, then that's when they find success. But if they get lazy and complacent and just keep making mistakes, then that's where things go wrong. And then they just got to figure out, like I said, that new identity and how to hold on to the lead. But, I am curious to see how this team plays after the break. We have, like I said, dealt with a lot of injuries, a lot of adversity, a really, really tough schedule. So I will be curious to see what they look like coming back from fresh 2 weeks off. Pierre-Luc Dubois rejoining this team. What does that look like? We haven't had him pretty much all season. People have been in and out. We've had to call up guys from AHL Hershey. So it's been kind of rough for the Caps. There's not been a lot of stability. And that makes it tough on these guys when you have no idea night in, night out who's playing with you.
It sounds like a lot of issues that the Oilers are dealing with through 53 games as well as they get set to play that tonight. You mentioned Hershey. Was that kid fight set up or was that legit?
I actually have no idea.
Really?
I saw that at the same
investigate?
time as anyone else. No, I want to take it for what it is. I don't want to know the behind the scenes of it because I feel like that ruins it.
Sure.
So
Yes.
I'm just gonna say that from my perspective, it was not set up. That was natural. But that was crazy.
It was awesome. It was awesome in the worst way. Okay. You mentioned Logan Thomson. Listen, in Canada, people aren't putting a lot of faith into Jordan Binnington right now. Understandably, given his body of work this season, they're looking at Logan Thompson. They're looking at Darcy Kemper and going, okay, which guy do we think takes over? How do you think the Olympics are going to go? Are you guys ramped up? Is Team USA really upset with what happened at Four Nations? I know it's a different team. How are we looking at this?
It's funny because I publicly declared on my Instagram after Tom and Logan made the team that I was going to be cheering for Team Canada.
Good choice.
So I'll get some points for that from Oilers fans that
Yes.
I am a temporary Canadian during this next 2 week span in February. I'm hopeful that I do think with the different team in front of him, I think Logan will play very, very well. I mean, he did for a really long time when we were not riddled with injuries, and he's still playing well. So I think he will. It's funny, Darcy Kemper was also a Capital for a few seasons.
Yes.
So we have some good representation there. And then Tom Wilson's just coming back from injury. So I am hopeful that he'll get geared up here in the next week or two and hopefully have an impact for you guys. I will be very curious to see how Canadian fans whether they love him, whether they're going to embrace him, what's going to happen.
Yes.
Because, okay, good. That's good to know. I was hopeful that would happen. But like I said, I'm rooting for Canada, so we'll see. I think the USA team selection was interesting. There was a lot of discourse about players selected. So I am curious to see how that goes and how that chemistry comes together and whether they made the right decisions.
You're going to be celebrating, I'll tell you that much. In February. Yeah. We'll get you a little maple leaf. Maybe we'll send something up to you or down to you with an oil, like a little oil drop, perhaps.
Okay.
I know
I'll
he's
take
very
it. I will
popular
rep
here,
that
yes.
with a lot of pride.
Yes, just don't show Sergey and anybody in the room, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Taryn Bray, Caps reporter, fantastic as always. Thank you for the time. You're the best.
Of course, Tom. Anything for you, buddy.
Mike's muted, Tom.
Got it. Sorry. Taryn Bray, great stuff there. Anything for Tom, hey?
Anything for Tom.
Lovely. She's awesome. I was just texting with her, actually. And thank you to Taryn Bray for hopping on again on the pregame show, covering the Washington Capitals, giving us the scoop on them as they come into town to take on the Edmonton Oilers. Let us know your thoughts, 780-218-9999. Hop into the nasty chat as well. Let's get to your game day odds check, brought to you by our good friends over at Play Alberta. Of course, when you play in Alberta, it stays in Alberta. Safe and secure. The revenue generated from Play Alberta is redirected into Alberta's General Revenue Fund, which is used to support programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. Your money line for tonight, the order is at -179. Caps at +150. The over-under is set at 6.5. The under at -135. Or pardon me, the over at -135. The under at +102. The spread at 1.5 for the Caps, -185 for the Oilers, +127. So there is your game day odds check, brought to you by Play Alberta. When you play in Alberta, they highly recommend that you use your game sense. Of course, check out the EST specials over at Play Alberta. Terrence's texting me now. She's watching it. Hello, Taryn. Oh, wonderful. That is great. Benny, some thoughts from you. I don't know if we're going to go inside the Oilers locker room. Do we have Chris Knobloch?
We do. Yep.
We do. We could do that in a couple minutes here. Okay. But talking to Taryn earlier today, what did you make of what she had to say about the Caps? Because, they've had their struggles. And she talked about how the last time they played the Oilers, they had a good win against Edmonton. And it's been like hit or miss in the time since.
Not winning 2 straight since is very surprising to me. That from a team that was, electric last year. I kind of thought, I don't know, this is my opinion, I kind of thought that was kind of fluky what they had last year. Like I feel like they had everything perfectly timed, everyone having career years at the same time. And when I was considering the Capitals, the year before, like going, okay, they're probably just going to have Ovechkin go chase the goal record, and then he'll call it a career, and they'll slowly make their way down, they'll tear it apart. But no, they've actually kind of, last year at least, had a pretty big year. And then this year, it hasn't been the same for them. And I can't say I'm overly shocked. I still think they have a pretty solid roster, a playoff roster, in my opinion. But it's like teams like the Buffalo Sabres that are ahead of them. Like Buffalo. Well,
Buffalo's gone on a crazy tear, right?
Crazy tear. Detroit. You know what I mean? Like, and Tampa has been ridiculous as of late. And they've been good. I guess that's just in the Atlantic, the Metro. Pittsburgh randomly out of nowhere is like, okay, now we're back to winning games and being a playoff team again. So, and the Islanders, like, there's so many. It's out in the East, man. It's so weird what's going on over there. In the West, it's a lot more like, okay, you have your top 3 Central teams: Dallas, Colorado, Minnesota, and then the Pacific kind of just sucks. But it's just going to be Vegas, Edmonton, and then whatever third team is going to sneak in on that third spot in the Pacific. But out in the East, man, it's so weird. There's a lot that can go down. Montreal, last I checked, they were up 3-2 on Boston. Cole Caulfield had a hat trick. They're at the top of the wild card spot. But yeah, just in Washington, man, like, they're the only team that's out of a playoff spot, at least in the East. Let me check in the West. That is out of a playoff spot that has a plus goal differential.
That's crazy.
Plus 12.
Plus 12.
Plus 12. The only non-playoff team with a plus goal differential. To me, it's you have Logan Thomson, who's solidified himself as one of the better goalies in the NHL. Ovi's still doing good. Tom Wilson, like Chikrin, has been a big addition for them. I'm a little bit confused why this team isn't better than what their stats saying where they are in the standings, but that's this year in the East at least. Every team, it's kind of random with what teams are doing well, what teams are doing bad, and I guess since that Oilers lost to them, or since the Capitals beat the Oilers, it hasn't been very good for them. So yeah, I'm pretty surprised by it, but I guess we'll see how they play tonight.
4 points out of a playoff spot going into action tonight. I'm watching Detroit and Winnipeg here. The Wings lead the Jets 3-1, just under 5 minutes left to play in the third period out in Winnipeg. And then, since that stretch, like, that was a good stretch for the Caps. They struck together a bunch of wins. I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is it 9 wins in a 10-game span there? Yeah. And the Oilers game was included in that cluster of wins. And they have not put together back-to-back wins since that little stretch back in November. So that's kind of what Taryn was outlining there. They had a 4-game losing streak. They snapped that yesterday in Calgary. They're on this road trip. It takes them through Colorado, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Seattle, and Detroit. So 3 games to go, including tonight. And they want to make some hay and get back into the mix because they're not that far out of it. And there's a bunch of hockey left to be played before the Olympic break. So we'll see how the Oilers handle them. Did not play well against them back in November, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And the Oilers looking for a bounce back performance themselves tonight. I'm just looking in the inbox, 780-218-9999, nice and quiet. And then the nasty chat humming along as it tends to do over on YouTube. Be sure to like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate it. I think we're on the march to 14,000 subscriptions over on YouTube, which is great.
Doing well.
And let your friends know your clear choice for Edmonton Sports Talk. All right, Benny, let's go inside the Oilers locker room. We have Chris Knobloch.
Yep, let's do it.
All right, let's hear from the head coach.
With Draisaitl there, I know he spent a bit of time there before, but maybe just give us a thought, Chris, on where his game is at and how some time with Leon, might be beneficial.
Yeah, he, last game he started out on the 4th line, and we changed things up. He moved up to Leon's line, and they had a lot of good shifts, spent a lot of time in the offensive zone, no goals, but just feel that, he's playing with an edge, and I know it's been a very difficult season for him, and but he still has great attitude, and we feel that he can help our team. And, with being tenacious, getting on the forward check, making some plays, but he can also score some goals when he gets the opportunities.
Morning, Chris. I'm hoping third time's a charm here as Connor Ingram starting tonight.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, good work.
Hey, thank you, guys. Can we just maybe talk about your team's effort tonight and your approach coming into it? Because we know the last couple of games, you weren't able to string together a full 60. What do you need to see from your group early to establish your game?
That start's very important. You look at the last 2 games. The Jersey game, we only had 9 shots after 2 periods, and the Pittsburgh game, 3 goals, in about 3 minutes to start the game is not any recipe to win hockey games, and we need to have a good start. And I think always the intentions are well, but, you have to get prepared, and whether that's the proper game plan or just being each individual ready to play hard and play the right way. We got a team coming in tonight who was kind of on a slide, but it looks like they figured things out. I know they've been playing very well the last week or 2, winning the other night, and we got to make sure that we jump on them because very similar last game against Washington, we got off to a slow start. They got off to a pretty good lead, and we had a strong push in the second half of that game. But we can only push so much and be able to get ourselves back in these.
What do you make of this stretch where you're catching teams on the second half of back-to-backs? What do you make of this? This is a pretty decent stretch where you guys catch teams on the second night.
Well, you have to take advantage of it. Obviously it's a advantage playing a team on the back-to-back, but if you're not prepared to play and ready, then it's no benefits. And we let the first 2 get away from us, and we have to change that. And whether they're playing back-to-backs or not, we have to play a better game.
Chris, this might be Alex Ovechkin's last trip to Edmonton. Who knows what his future holds? But I just want to ask you about playing, a guy of his ilk and what he's done over the years. And it's still fun to kind of see him on the other side, even though you're trying to shut him down.
Yeah, anytime you get to see those guys play in person, whether it's Ovechkin, Crosby the other night, there's guys who've been able to play at a high level for such a long period of time. And, I've got a lot of respect for Ovechkin. And I remember my first game, or one of my first games in the NHL, I was an assistant coach in Philadelphia, and it was against Washington, and getting to see a player like that it's remarkable. It's those are the players that you like to see, and you have a lot of respect for him. And, for him to be able to score goals the way he has been through his career and continuing doing it, it's amazing. Whether this is his last time to Edmonton, I don't know. I don't know his future, but, I think Edmonton fans will have a nice treat, and the ones that get to come to the building tonight to watch them, because you don't know how many are left.
Chris, so it's a fine exit. Chris, can you talk to Ike Howard's play, and what do you want to see more of from? It doesn't seem like he's shooting the puck very much.
Yeah, you got to be in a position to shoot puck to do that. But, I don't think I have any issues. Like, at the beginning of the year, we wanted to play a little faster, a little more tenacious, be better with the puck. And everything we've addressed, he's got better at. In the last few games, he hasn't scored or got many points for a long stretch, but I think he's playing the right way. He's had a couple opportunities, I think of last game where it looks like he's in a position to score and he's got good chances. They're just not going in, but you can, you look at Savoy right now, it looks like he's got a lot of confidence. And, it started with a deflection by accident that went into the net. And then you saw in the next game, he gives you a little boost. And last night, he looked like a 50-goal scorer coming down the wing and ripping that down for the goal. So, I think just with Ike having a goal go in, give him a little more confidence to his game. But, I think he's playing well.
And one on Frederick.
All right, that was Chris Knobloch there. He went on for a few more minutes, so good stuff. Talk about Ike Howard. Obviously, it's a treat to see Alex Ovechkin. We get to see him here tonight. We don't know how many more times he'll make the trek here. Like I was saying with Taryn, I really hope he plays a couple more years. I want to see him chase down 1,000. I think that would be so cool.
That'd be sick. Yeah.
The 900 was electrifying last year. I really enjoyed it, and man, he continues to score goals. He's got 44 points this year. He's been playing really, really well. Benny, I'm going to read out the lineups, and then we'll give some final thoughts as we get set for the Oilers and the Capitals. The Jets got smashed 5-1. In the time I gave out the score a few minutes ago to the end of the game, Detroit added a couple more. And then now we've got Boston and Montreal. Habs are wearing their home reds. I like that. In Boston, and Boston leads with 1:10 left, 4-3. Habs have the net empty. Here's your lineups for the Washington Capitals. Dowd between Ovechkin and Frank. Sordiff with Protas and Wilson. Strome between McMichael and Leonard. Lapierre with Duhaime and Beauvillier. On defense, Ferravari with Carlson. Chikrin paired up with Roy. Sandin with Van Riemsdyk. Charlie Lindgren is your starter in goal. And then for the Oilers, you've got Connor Ingram. And then for the Oilers, their lines, McDavid between Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. Draisaitl between Podkolzin and Mangiapane. Roslovic centering Howard and Savoy. Lazar with Frederick and Janmark. On defense, Ekholm with Bouchard. Let's see if that pair has a better game. Nurse with Emerson. Wallman paired up with Spencer Stasny, who is on the right side. All right, Benny Thompson, some final thoughts from you, please.
Just confirming, Chris G is saying that McDavid's out. They sent the pregame lineup out, and it looks like he's out there. So,
where'd that come from?
That's a nasty chat.
Okay.
But I expect him to play. It looks like Oilers were saying he should be playing. I'm seeing that in the lineup. But
okay.
For tonight, obviously it's exciting to see Ovi play. But for me, this is from an Oilers side. Get back on track. I've really liked their game. After that small lull after the Christmas break, I feel like they haven't got some of the balance they would have liked. Obviously, that Pittsburgh game wasn't great. 3 goals in 37 seconds. Basically, to start off the game. No bueno. Let's see let's see them get off to a better start and beat a struggling Washington Capitals team. Don't be slump busters. Take advantage tonight and get a good win on home ice on a Saturday night.
The Oilers did just send out lines. Looks like Connor McDavid is good to go. According to them, they just emailed the lineups to everybody and expect to see McDavid in action tonight. Interesting. That's weird. That would suck if he didn't play, but looks like he's good to go. I don't know where that came from. Who put that out in the nasty chat? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, it looks like he's going to play. So there we go. Okay. All right. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Big thank you to Taryn Bray, Caps reporter, for stopping by, giving us the scoop on those Washington Capitals who are looking for back-to-back wins for the first time since November. My goodness. The Oilers looking to bounce back after a tough night against Pittsburgh on Thursday. Haven't won since the weekend when they beat the St. Louis Blues at home. Thank you to everybody who watched on YouTube. Thank you to everybody who listened on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, of course, EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player. We appreciate it very, very much. The Oilers and Caps will be the last time Ovechkin comes to Edmonton. Hopefully not. Let's see if he's got a little bit of magic and some tricks up his sleeve tonight. For Benny Thomson, for Shawn, Belle, I'm Tom Gazzola saying enjoy the game. We will see you on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show in a couple of hours. Ciao for now.